think we can start, or I can start. My session today is about connecting from different devices, different smart devices you can find on the market today, like an iPad, iPhone, or Android, or Windows Phone, to the Firebird server. If you need this one, here's my email, so if you find any questions or something like that later after the conference, feel free to drop me a line, and I will try my best to answer. Down there is an address for my blog, so you can find some resources there as well. Let's jump into the agenda. I will first provide you some .NET provider facts that we will be using for creating an application for different devices, and then we will explore these three, in fact four, devices to connect from .NET to Firebird. So about the facts, the .NET provider itself is written in the pure managed code. It's been written in C#, and it contains the full implementation of the Firebird protocol. So you don't need the Firebird client library except for the embedded. And it's a complete ADO.NET driver as well. The provider supports all Firebird versions, so you can start from Firebird 1.0, or you can go for Firebird 2.5, and it should work easily. And I'm doing the test on the Microsoft.NET and also the Mono. You will see later why this is important. If we divide the current market, we can divide it into two halves, kind of. And one is that is covered with the Microsoft.NET. There's a lot of computers, notebooks, netbooks, and so on. So simply the PC. And then you have a small portion of the market with the Windows CE, Windows Phone, Windows Mobile, Windows Phone 7, and so on. Different devices running on the Windows CE. The other part is the smart devices on the Mono. The Mono itself is trying to cover the rest with the iPhone, iPad, and the Android. They are simply doing the .NET binding to the native API, and because the Mono itself has full ahead of time compilation, they are able to overcome some limitations on the devices. The third bullet is some notice, maybe you know, maybe don't. There's a version of the framework, which is called .NET Micro Framework. It's a really small version of the .NET framework, and you can buy for like $100. It's called a developer board. It's just a piece of chips and wires. It has in a basic configuration like 28K of RAM, and you can develop applications on these devices using the .NET, using C# or VB.NET, and put it there. It contains basically the .NET runtime, TCP/IP stack, and some interfaces. So you can buy, for instance, the accelerometer, the microphone, or some sensors, and build whatever you want. And the basic one is like $100, so playing it's okay. But you want like 28K. If you wanna create something bigger, you may need like 64K or something like that. That's of course more expensive. And in fact, you can then later ask the vendor to create the board especially for you with devices and sensors you are using directly integrated, because it's kind of a platform like a Lego, so you can put pieces in and buy like thousands of pieces and sell it whatever you want. Here's a big quick warning. I personally don't think that it's a good idea to create an application on any smart device connecting directly to Firebird. First, the protocol of the Firebird isn't optimized for these small devices, for slow networks, and even if it's a binary protocol, if you will create some web service or something like that, it might be easier to maintain and to integrate. So think twice about directly jumping into it. So I will start with the iPhone and iPad. The platform itself is very similar. Apple is trying to keep the platform very tight, or at least it looks like for people that are not directly developing for an iPad or iPhone. And there is one huge limitation, and that's that you can turn a data page into an execution page, which is a key point if you want to do a compilation of the device. That's the reason why you can have Java, for instance, or Flash, or any environment that needs some virtual machine or just-in-time compilation. But the monotouch is the answer. I already told you that the mono has a full ahead-of-time compilation. It means you can take any .NET code and directly compile it into the native code, and you don't need the .NET runtime environment anymore. There's only a few limitations, basically about the emitting, the intermediate language instructions, and the reflection, of course, because you don't have such a great and wide type system when you compile it. The monotouch itself is paid, it's stable, and brings a lot of native APIs, in fact almost everything from the iPhone and the iPad to the .NET world, so you are not developing some application like a GTK application that will look like almost like a native application. It will be actually a native application. And for developing, you can use, of course, Notepad, Emacs, VI, whatever is your favorite editor, but probably some IDE is better. And the monodevelop that runs on Mac is free. To develop the applications, you need iPhone or an iPad developer tool. They are free. You just need to register on the developer.apple.com and download it. To publish the application to the devices, you need the developer certificate. It's I think currently $99 per developer or per company. And of course, you need an Apple hardware, because the emulator of the iPhone and iPad can be run only on Apple hardware. At least that's the hard truth. You can run it on a different machine as well. So I will start with the So I have here a virtual machine running Mac OS. So you see that it's possible to run it on non-Apple hardware. The only limitation is that your hardware needs to have hardware virtualization support, so the VMware is able to fully emulate the Mac. That's the only requirement. And what you need to do is really slightly modify the .NET provider, because we don't have out-of-the-box build. So simply you need to take the mono build and remove some of the code that's there. We are using a little bit of the reflection for getting process version, and if it's running in ASP.NET,
the version of no, not the version, sorry, the path of the ASP.NET application. And as I told you, the reflection is not available on the Mono while it's compiled for an iPhone. And that's basically it. You then reference this assembly. You have to create a new, completely new project. You can import the project file that we are using for Visual Studio because it's a class library, but it has a different target on the Mono develop because it's targeted for an iPhone, not a standard DLL object. So that's the only difference. You need to create empty project and import all the files from more or less all the folders, as you can see here. Because I don't have a connection here, I will not be able actually to connect to the server, but you will see at least it will go down to the socket and try to connect. It's kind of slow because it's running in a virtual machine, and the emulator itself is slow as well. I don't know whether I click the button or whether it's waiting for something. Maybe it's trying to connect. Sooner or later it will fail. So I will hit on the background, and I'm using just the same code. I'm creating the FB connection. I'm trying to open it. And if it succeeds, I will just put into the label the server version. If not, I will put the message into the label. The application itself is created in the same way as any other application. If you're using Xcode or something like that, you have the zip file. If you open it, it's opened in Interface Builder. So even if you are creating an application that's written in a different language and directly for the iPhone, you can still use the interface, use the build, and just provide a piece of code in .NET that you will be sharing between different devices, and simply use it. Yes, it finally failed. It was not able to connect to the server. So you see, it was not crashing in some spectacular way. It just threw an exception. It was an Firebird exception. It wrapped the internal network error, and we have seen the error. I will provide all these examples, or it will be provided on the conference site, so you will be able to download it and try on your computer, or at least look at it if you will be connected to the internet. If you will be interested seeing it running or executing some command to the server, try to find me somewhere here today, tomorrow, and if the connectivity will be okay, I will show it for you. So that's an iPhone or an iPad. It doesn't matter. The environment is the same. And I will be playing a lot of virtual machines. So maybe the virtual machines are not the main problem. Okay, that was not what supposed to happen. It's not prepared. Okay, I will give it a time, and I will start talking about the Android. The Android, it's basically the same story as an iPhone. We are using the product called Monodroid. It's currently in the preview, so you don't have to you can download it from the website. You have to have some kind of invitation to get an access to it. It's using the same idea as the MonoTouch, so you are simply trying to create an application in .NET, compile it, and after it's compiled, it's bind directly to the Android SDK. And I will restart my machine, probably. Available also for other versions, but right now it's a preview 6, I think. So it takes some time to make it stable. Jiri slide, the Java is used as the main development platform on the Android. The Android itself looks like it's open, but the operator, the mobile operator, can make it really not open. As I said, we have the Monodroid. Yes, it's unstable. It's probably easily figurable because it's closed preview, and it's using the Mono and the Dalvik virtual machine cooperation. You need a Vision Studio 2010. I was already saying that there is no support for the Express edition right now, so you need Professional, Ultimate, or whatever version, the JDK, and Android SDK. I will start a virtual machine hopefully quickly. And here I have my project in the Android, because if you install the Monodroid, you will have a new item in your Visual Studio creating Monodroid application, Monodroid class library, or an OpenGL Monodroid application. Again, you have to create first Monodroid class library, import all files of the Firebird client into it to make it compile. And again, make it compile for the Mono, and just remove some pieces from the .NET provider to make it run. I mentioned, or I noted all places where I changed it. It's mono_droid. It's in the 6 files, and it's on the 13 places. So you see, it was not such a hard stuff to do it, and a lot of stuff is related to some special attributes for design time or something like that. So the code itself was touched really only on a few pieces. And again, the same code, I'm trying to open the connection. If it succeeds, show the server version number. If not, show the message. I will start an emulator. The Android emulator is really slow. So I I will take some time for questions. If you're for an iPhone or iPad or even the Android, feel free to ask, because it's booting like minute or minute and a half. Yes. It's definitely not fast. Some people are reported that you will get used to the slowness of the system, but yes, there are devices that are faster. In fact, this is probably the worst emulator I have worked with. It's really weird. You don't know what the buttons are doing. You don't have the feeling of what it will look like on the display, because you have just the display. You don't have some kind of feeling of the whole device. With an iPhone, you get an iPhone. With a Windows Mobile, you get a Windows Mobile kind of screen or skin, and you see the complete system. There you have just the screen and some freaky keyboard and buttons. And in fact, a lot of buttons isn't available on these devices in such a way, like on the emulator. And here we are. So now I will compile the application, sign it, deploy it to the emulator. It will take another minute or something like that, because it's again not so fast, but it's not so bad as the Windows Phone 7. It's even worse. But I have good news. We will not be waiting for the Windows Phone 7 to start. Again, the monodroid itself is using everything from the Android. So you are defining, oh yeah, I can click into the Visual Studio. You are using the XML files to define the structure of the screen. You are not using some proprietary designers or something like that. So you can share the different layouts or different pieces of the application between. And if I can connect, it will try again to connect, and will fail in a minute because, again, no network connection. You have seen the message, it will be the same, and you can probably see that it's not failing, it's waiting for the network, so it's working. I will leave it here and jump back in a couple of seconds, and I will go to the next platform, and it's Windows Phone 7. The bad news is that you can run a .NET application on any .NET application on the Windows Phone 7. You can use only Silverlight or XNA to develop an application, and in fact it's a special version of the Silverlight. So if you have any Silverlight application running on the web, you have to recompile it. It's a very young platform. You probably know that it was released a couple of weeks before the conference. In fact, the base is a Windows CE still. It's just normal Windows CE. It's nothing brand new. It's just a layer on top of it that kind of keeps the developers out of the device. So I think somebody will find some way to run, if not a normal C, C++ application or a native application, the .NET application without the limitation of the Silverlight. Because right now in the Silverlight you don't have the ADO.NET stack, so you can connect to the server and so on. But I don't think you should do it either, so the web service and the Silverlight will be probably easier. The last one, the last platform is the Windows CE, Windows Mobile and the Windows Phone. It doesn't matter, it's the same. Here's the .NET Compact framework available, and we are actually providing the builds directly for the Compact framework. Not because for the Mono it will make no sense, but because the .NET Compact framework can be run, for instance, on the Windows CE and you can have some small tablets or custom devices where it makes sense to connect to Firebird directly. You have almost the full set of features from the big framework. It's limited only in some really big classes, and you have no limitation on these platforms. So if you are going to provide some workers a device with the rubber edges to collect some data, you can create application in the .NET Compact framework without any limitation. You can deploy it without needing to sign it with some certificate or having to put it in some app store or something like that. The only limitation currently is that Microsoft is no longer going probably to support the Compact framework. So you are stuck with the Visual Studio 2008 and .NET Framework 3.5. And the huge advantage is that there is a lot of devices available currently. Not only the phones, but also the custom devices, as I said. So it's a huge piece of market. If you will look at the emulator, it was unable to complete network request to my server. It's kind of expected. So I will jump to another virtual machine. Hopefully it will not crash now. This is the last virtual machine, and it's the one running the Visual Studio 2008, .NET Framework 3.5, and it's using the Windows Phone or Windows Mobile emulator. Again, the same application. I can start the emulator directly, and here I'm not using any kind of special custom build of the .NET provider. I just referenced the build for the Compact framework. You can download it from the website, or you can do it yourself in the Visual Studio, because we have a configuration in the code for the Compact framework. And so this is the easiest way to go. If I run it, it will again take some time because it needs to deploy the .NET framework to the device, because this is how the clean Windows Mobile 6 looks like. But it will take only a couple of, I don't say seconds, but tenths of the seconds. So we can wait. The developer experience on this platform is of course the best, because it's really nicely integrated into the Visual Studio. You don't have to select the emulator to start and so on. I can still continue work on my code as it's deploying to the device. So this is the easiest way, but right now it looks like these devices will be sooner or later dead, because the interest is only on the iPhone, Android, and the Windows Phone 7 series. Okay, it's almost there. Then again, the same application, if I hit the button, it will be trying to connect. I will jump back later, or it was faster here. Again, the same message, nothing magical. So it covered kind of three platforms, and it was the demo we did. And I think it's time to question and answers, because I don't think it will be reasonable if I develop some application on different platforms, because it will be just a demo application. So feel free to ask whether something is possible or not possible with the .NET driver and the particular platform. Yes? Yes, yes. Well, the Windows Phone 7 series, it's just an ordinary Windows CE device with the layer of the Silverlight or XNA framework on top of it. So with the Windows Phone 7, you can use only Silverlight or XNA framework to develop an application. The Windows Mobile, the Windows CE, these devices are able to run the .NET Compact framework, so you can put there the .NET Compact framework, or in fact it's installed on many of the new devices, and run the application just as any other. Does that answer your question, or? Yes. For Windows Phone 7, if you want to develop an application for Windows Phone 7, you need to download the Windows Phone 7 series SDK. It's free. You don't need a Visual Studio. If you don't have a Visual Studio 2010, it will install you some kind of Windows Visual Studio 2010 Express Edition for Windows Phone or something like that. It just contains the environment for the development, and you will get the emulator. The emulator itself needs a physical hardware, because the emulator itself it's a virtual machine. So you need the physical hardware, and it needs a DirectX test set. DirectX 10 graphic card, because it's using the wider acceleration and WDDM driver. So if you're running Vista or Windows 7 with the IR stuff, it works. But actually you can run it inside VMware, because the VMware is doing a really good job. But it's really, really slow. It takes like 2-3 minutes just to start the device. And if you click on something in the application, it takes another 10 seconds to react, because it's really heavily relying on the hardware acceleration. And even if the VMware is doing a really good job, it's still, the processor is on 100%. It's really slow. So if you don't have any other questions, I will thank you for your attention, and thank you.